Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA. USD 443, Dodge City Public Schools. Understanding the importance and legalities of student privacy. USD 443, District Policy. Individual student files are not available for public inspection. The custodian of student records shall disclose the student's educational records only as provided within district and federal policy. What that simply states is USD 443 is going to adhere to not only district policy but also federal policy, federal law, and the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act of 1974. Administrators shall forward students' school records upon request and may not withhold them for any reason. Whether this reason may be a positive or negative reason, administrators or custodians of the records shall always forward upon the records at the request of the individual, schools, or whoever has been given the rights or access to those records. What is FERPA? FERPA guarantees parents and eligible students certain rights regarding their educational records. Students, much like citizens of the United States, have constitutional rights, protected rights, regarding the release of certain information. The same is held up with a student. Certain records, certain documents cannot be released for public inspection. FERPA stands for the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This act is designed under federal law to ensure student confidentiality for all matters regarding educational record keeping. Therefore, it's essential for not only administrators but also teachers to know the importance of the FERPA guidelines before releasing any educational knowledge or records. FERPA information. This act was passed in 1974. This act gives eligible students are students considered 18 years of age or older, or those in a higher educational level institutions such as colleges or universities, tech schools, whatever it might be, and parents access to their educational records, while at the same time establishes certain parameters for the custodian who maintains them and those who can view those records. Parental or eligible students' rights under FERPA. Parents and eligible students have the ability to access their records and documentation anytime they see it prevalent or necessary to do so. Parents and eligible students also have the ability to release information upon written or verbal request for another institution or individual or court official. Parents and eligible students have the ability to amend or change information within their written records. There is a process to this request, and a hearing committee would have to be formed. If the hearing committee and its due process found that records did not need to be changed at the request of the student or the parent, parents and eligible students have also the ability to file more of a formal complaint or statement of disagreement with certain documentation within their educational records. That disagreement would be pertinent, would be relevant to the statement, but would also be part of that record keeping process, so it would always be there. Students and parents alike have a right to know the content of the information kept on their educational records. They also have a right to expect that administrators, counselors, and teachers to keep this information confidential. Therefore, I think it is important that all those groups, from administrators, counselors, building leaders to teachers, understand what is defined under FERPA as an educational record. I think this is beneficial not only for informal conversation, but also understanding what you're violating and what you're not violating by communicating to teachers about certain students. So what is an educational record? FERPA defines an educational record as any documentation or record that includes personal identifiable information which relates to a specific student or individual, and this is considered part of the educational record and protected under FERPA. Most of the information that is not disclosed to the public in some way or form deals with the school. This could be from grades to transcripts to test scores, um, disciplinary records, official school letters. But also, a good portion of the information does not relate to the school. This can be made up from the social security number, date of birth, location of birth, race, your gender. Your medical records could fit into that as well. It's important to understand that this information listed is personally identifiable and could have serious legal consequences if released. Some information that the school has may be released or disclosed without written consent from the student or parent. This information is considered directory information. This information is to be more common knowledge information, such as a name, address, phone number, email, certain awards, degree, enrollment status, attendance. Now, that being said, students and parents may request schools not to release certain directory information as well. It's vital for a school district to allow parents or to give parents an opportunity to understand this as well. Educational record viewing. In most cases, in order for records to be viewed, a formal consent letter must be processed by the student or parent for certain disclosures. Not all access requires this type of letter of consent. Areas where this type of consent would not be needed are areas where individuals are deemed to have a legitimate educational interest in the student or child. These could fall into categories of such teachers, court officers, probation officers, financial aid officers, higher education, institutional reasons, and so forth. It's important that districts notify parents and students of both their rights in dealing with FERPA and the district's rights. I think when teachers or administrators are always falling on the side of caution in dealing with FERPA information, they're always going to fall on the right side of the line.